Hello and welcome to this very special broadcast on ET Now. My guest today is the Indian cricket captain Virat Kohli. Thanks Virat for talking to us here on ET Now. I know we're not going to talk about cricket today. You're coming here as someone who believes so passionately about getting India fit. The last time I interviewed you was in November when you launched your clothing line, 18, clearly dedicated to your jersey number with Puma. Since then, you've commissioned a survey to figure out how fit India is, and I believe you're aghast with the findings?
Yeah, I mean, back in November when we started all this, I was keen on getting the numbers, and now that the numbers are out, it's really surprising as to what's happened over the last few years and what's happening, what's continuing to happen in that particular aspect. 75% of people have only played a sport or done a physical activity in school or college. So the survey has been done in 18 cities, around 4,000 people roughly, and 1/3 of them have not done a physical activity in 1 year.
Which includes walking, I'm guessing?
Nothing at all, nothing in 1 year, even on any day, which I think is alarming, and 75%, as I said, last did that in school or college. So it's very alarming and disturbing to know these things, because actually when it's needed is when you're getting older and you need to take care of your body even more, is when the physical activity is going down. And just when they're younger, when they're fitter, they like to go out, they like to do physical activity or play a sport. But when they get slower is when they need to do it even more.
That's when arthritis kicks in, diabetes kicks in. It shouldn't come as a surprise that India is the diabetic capital of the world.
Exactly. So all your health problems and diseases are hand in glove situation with your physical condition. So which people do not understand too much, and they go too much or too quickly into getting rid of that problem with medicines and stuff like that. But I think the overall development of your body physically and mentally is so very important, which people do not pay attention to. It's taken for granted, to be honest, because it takes effort to go out and do some physical work. It's not easy, so people just choose.
It has to be a way of life. It doesn't have to be something that you need to even carve out time for. I think it has to come naturally, right?
I think it contributes to the society, to be really honest, because I've seen that culture in other countries. And
their 40 is the new 30, 30 is the new 20. We're very far off from that.
Exactly. So there's a lot of physical work. People walk to places. People are involved in physical activity or play a sport. That's like a routine thing, as you said, on a daily basis. After work, they will have a set pattern, or before work, they will make an effort to go in the morning, play a game or two, play a sport, and then head to work. You're clear, you've done your stuff for the day. So I think that's how people need to prioritize it, which I don't see happening.
But Virat, isn't one of the reasons also because, like, when you go to the West, for example, and where people are now very particular about health, they certainly are more conscious than we are in India. They go running on the roads, they have parks over there. Yes, we have infrastructure, but you have other problems to deal with. For example, will a mother today want her young child to go out in Delhi's pollution? You have to live with these very India-specific problems as well, right?
I understand that. I totally agree with that. It's more of an effort, but look, we have to make use of whatever we have available to us. And I think if not straight away on the streets, but a complex where there's more greenery and it's better to send your kids there, maybe that effort can be taken to send them there on a daily basis, or take them there on a daily basis. So I think there are always ways that you can find. If it's similar to playing a sport, if situation gets tougher, you just don't get out of the field and say, I'm not able to. You don't quit. Yeah, you don't say, oh, it's too tough for me, I'm not going to do it. Because your life depends on it. You like it, you're passionate about it. So I think once you have passion towards it, once you understand the larger picture, that this is so very important for my child's development, you will not find it difficult to do on a daily basis.
When you launched your clothing brand, 18, I think the idea was also to say that, hey, if you feel good, you look good, maybe you're also going to come out and play, was your motto. Has it worked?
The response has been really good, to be honest. People have really liked the collection. They've been able to wear it, as we last discussed, in many places, in different places that they go to play a sport or just go out for a meal, or just go out for coffee and stuff like that. So people have really responded well to it. I'm really happy with it. But the larger picture that we're talking about here is the movement, which through this collaboration and this activation, we need to push even more.
Why aren't you pushing women? There's no women's clothing line right now in 1/8.
We are working on it. You should ask them how far we are to launching it. Of course, we want to do it because it's not only about one section of the society. We want everyone to be involved in that and be happy with what we are doing. And we are taking this as an opportunity to do this activation in such a large scale. And we want to do, annual sort of festivals where people just come and they're involved in. So that is the ultimate.
Festivals with like a sports festivals?
Yeah, like you have normal festivals that you go to, like a concert or stuff like that. So we want to have, stuff like that happening annually, where people know that this is my day. I'm gonna go and enjoy. I'm gonna be involved. You get to know people. You get to collaborate with people. Maybe you find similar ideas, and people who think in a similar manner will be a part of it. So that is what I see it as. People who are too involved on social media and stuff won't make the effort to go there. Maybe some will just to be at the event.
Or take a selfie and post and
yeah,
check
but
in on
we
Facebook.
we would trust people to come there from that point of view where they respond to our kind of thinking as well.
But tell me, Virat, I believe, and the guys at Puma were telling me that you are absolutely fanatical when it comes to your line. You're involved with down to the tiniest of stitch that is there. Where do you find the time between your practice, your tours, your matches, and everything else on your plate?
Well, I keep checking stuff every now and then. When I see something nice, I keep that in my mind, or when I see something nice on the internet, I keep that in my mind as well to use for the line. I keep checking these things, something that's productive. I don't waste my time on social media too much.
Well, you have a very interactive Instagram handle.
Yeah, but that is something that
it's always in the bus, so like it's
yeah, but
management.
I post stuff, but I'm not someone who would sit down and spend more time in the explore. That is the one that is the killer one. And reading comments and stuff like that, I never do it. I put out stuff for my fans.
You don't read your fans' comments?
No, I put out stuff for my fans. I put out stuff to interact with them, to keep them, in check or in sync with what's happening. But other than that, because to be very honest, there's a lot of passionate fans, there are a lot of honest, loyal fans, but there's so much negativity as well in between. And it's sometimes when you see those things, you feel like, if I am a human being, I cannot see or I cannot write or say something like this for anyone, even if I hated them a lot. So that is, to me, is very disturbing. I don't know if that's attention gaining or whatever it is. So I'm not involved like that. So I use productive things on the net, and one is to keep checking styles for my line. And so aesthetically with my clothing, I'm pretty okay. So I don't need to put in that much effort as well, because I just know how to combine my clothes, and then I give them my ideas, and they respond so well. Whatever I want.
Do they ever say no to you? Does Puma ever say no, Virat, this is not going to work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if I want to totally change the style which has been approved, then it can be a hassle. But otherwise, they've never said no.
Are you a tough guy to get endorsed by?
No, I'm not. Am I?
Okay, so I'm going to move on from this. Now, a lot of our viewers, we are a business news channel, so our audience are corporates, those who trade in the stock markets, lawyers. These are people who are stuck in what we call that corporate rut. They believe that they can't even take out maybe 20 minutes to half an hour for their exercise. What do you want to say to such viewers? How do you want to motivate them?
Well, get together, create something in the place that you work in. I mean, I'm not saying that you leave your workplace and you go to a gym or you go to some other place and do something. Why not get together and create something exactly where you work? So you finish work, you do your physical activity, or you get there earlier, you finish it, you start work. So there are many things that can be done with this. It only takes a collective effort for everyone to say, okay, this is what we decide to do, and we are going to do it for our organization. It's not that difficult at all. I know so many places where they have a gym inside the organization, and people do physical work and they go to the gym.
But there are a lot of offices which don't have gyms.
Yeah, so find a place nearby. So that's exactly my point again. Those who can afford to do it or have the space to do it, they must create it. Or those who don't, they have to accept that and prioritize what they need to do in terms of keeping up with their physical effort. Life is not similar for everyone. and that we've seen. It's not fair for everyone. Someone has to work harder, someone doesn't have to work that hard. So that's the way it is. Everyone has to accept those situations, accept that scenario, and then work accordingly. You can't just say, oh, but their office has, so many places to do all this stuff and ours is so difficult, so I'm not going to do it. That's not how things work. So again, my point, if you understand that this is part of you, then you make an effort. If you understand that, or you accept that this can be neglected or this can be taken for granted, then you will never take that step. So that's the awareness we want to create.
So tell me something, you brought about this dynamism in leadership now. So I'm going to ask you this question, that do you think it's incumbent on today's business leaders and CEOs to also ensure that their workforce is fit, that they get that time maybe to go exercise or work around the hours? Do you think such leaders will be better leaders?
It can certainly start from the top. Why not? Make that a mandate in your organization, that this has to be a sports day or you have to do some kind of physical work on a daily basis. If you inculcate that into your organization culture, then everyone starts respecting that because it comes from the top. So yeah, that's one way to do it as well. So that's a very good idea actually.
So do you think a fit CEO will be a better leader, a fitter leader to lead?
Of course, if my senior is fit and I see that, as an inspiration, I would want to be the same. I would want to put in the same kind of effort, even if it's for looking that way or aspiring to look a certain way or look like your senior or your boss. It works perfectly for you because you might not understand the bigger picture, but at least you're doing the right thing by getting inspired by your senior or from the top.
I can work out every day, 1 hour a day, but it's all going to become null and void if I'm going to have butter chicken every night for dinner, right? Diet is also very, very important. What's your message to your fans, to all of those watching this interview as far as diet goes?
Diet is the only problem I feel in our country is the taste buds, and if someone can take control of that, that is all that they need to focus on. If the taste buds are taken care of, I don't think the diet is an issue because we crave, delicious food, and if we can control that, then we're on the right track.
I know time is running out, but I wanted to ask you, you read about so many fads today: keto, vegan, gluten-free, intermittent fasting. Do you think these are just fads or there's a science behind them? Should people fall for them?
I don't think it's not logical. What I would suggest to people is to do a DNA test, which I have done for my body. Understand what your body requires and then follow that accordingly. Don't just blindly follow someone else's diet.
Are you the fittest you've ever been in your life?
At this moment, yes.
Yeah?
I am.
Who did you look up to for fitness?
For fitness, no one actually. I've just understood this by myself. I didn't look up to anyone for fitness.
What is the longest you've ever run in your life?
20 minutes at the speed of 14 kilometers an hour.
What is the heaviest that you've lifted in weights?
Deadlift of 145 kg.
If you ever feel like munching, what would be your snack?
2 AM multigrain chips.
Well, with that, thank you so much, Virat, for taking the time out for ET Now. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you.